Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tarikaremba. You know the vibes already. Today we are going to be doing another chit chat. Get ready with me because you guys know I have thoughts that I want to talk about, and yeah, I've just been wanting to get back into this whole chit chat situation. So today we are going to be talking about living even in the waiting, okay? And I guess for context, right? How many times have you put life on hold because you're waiting for the perfect situation? You know what I mean? The perfect opportunity, the perfect job, the perfect relationship, whatever it is. Like, you've put things on hold because that one thing hasn't happened yet, right? Essentially, I want to talk about how this mindset can be limiting because life is still passing you by, babes. Life is still happening every day, even if you're waiting for the right moment. Like, there is none. And of course, like, this is something that I feel very personally in this season of my life. And I was actually like having a conversation with my grandma the other day. It was like a surface level thing, but then it definitely spoke to like deeper things. So yeah, I hope you guys find this video useful and you enjoy like the dialogue. But like, let me know what things in your life have you been putting on hold because you've been waiting for this to happen or this to happen or this to happen. I am in multiple waiting seasons right now, and I've been for years, to be honest. But like, this year I've tried to give myself permission to live life a bit more and just like do a bit more because girl, I'm turning 30 next year, okay? So it's like time is passing, and I think I've woken up to that fact. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's beat this face while we do it. And if you want to see how I did the hair, it's bob season. It is actually a quick weave, and that will be in the next video. So make sure you check that out. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and let's get into it. As always, we need to start by prepping the skin. I'll try to remember to show you all the products. I sometimes forget, but they're definitely in the description. So, you know the vibes already. Me and Nivea go like this, okay? So, yeah. So first of all, of course, let's be real and just talk about the fact that, you know, waiting is very much a part of life, and it's just one of those things where it's like, it is what it is. There's really nothing that you can do, because at some point in your life, for one reason or another, you are going to go through a waiting season, even if that's not what you want to be doing with your life. But of course, the whole point of this video is to sort of emphasize the fact that I don't know, we shouldn't sort of fall into that trap of thinking that, you know, you can live life, whatever that means for you, whether that is, I don't know, pivoting your career, pursuing a new degree, moving to another country, buying a house, buying a car, whatever that situation could be for you, right? The whole point of this is just to emphasize that, like, it's so easy to fall into that trap of thinking that you can start living life or like doing whatever it is you want to do once the waiting season is over. Because I don't know, I think in this season of my life, I've really woken up to the fact that that's not a good way to live life. Because the thing about life is, right, you don't know like when things are meant to happen for you. You don't know which season things are going to change. You don't know how long that waiting season is going to be, right? And it always takes me back to like the story of Sarah and Abraham. And it's one of those stories that like I grew up hearing all the time, because I mean, I grew up Catholic. I was in Sunday school my whole life. I also went to a Catholic school. So I was also like just in an environment where these are stories that I was hearing on repeat my whole life in different ways. But I feel like when I heard it again this year, it hit different, because it just reminded me that, like, you know, God's gonna make you wait, and he's still gonna deliver on his promise when his time comes, right? But that might not be the same sort of timeline you have, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, you'll be just saying good but it's like, dog, like, God could make you wait 15 years, 20 years, a lifetime before that happens. So in the meantime, what I can say, my life, you know what I'm saying? And obviously the answer is no. So that is just like the emphasis that I'm trying to make, that even in your waiting, it's okay to live life, whatever live life looks like to you. Like, it's okay. I think the waiting shouldn't consume your life to the point that, like, there's nothing else that's happening and there's nothing else that is moving for you, okay? And I will take this a step further and give the personal example of myself and my life, okay? I feel like in this season of my life, and guys, if you can hear that, I'm so sorry. Someone is taking a shower and the booster pump is making noise, and there's literally nothing I can do, because if I don't do this now, I'm not gonna have time to do this until next week, and I've already had a very busy week trying to make up for all the things I couldn't do last week when I did not have my voice. So bear with me. It should switch off soon. Okay, brows. I'm really loving this whole brow pen life, okay? Jackie Mgido changed my life. I will give the example of myself in this season of my life, right? So I am someone who has been in the waiting for many things, guys. Like, when I talk to my best friend sometimes, like, I'm just so frustrated, because I think there are a lot of things in life that God has really, like, made me wait for. And I'm still waiting, and I do not know how much longer I'm gonna have to wait. But the other thing about God is, like, mangwana unomuka chinja. Like, right now, it could all change forever. So there's still that. So yeah. So just like on the season of waiting, right? So something that I was talking to my best friend about, which was actually stemming from a conversation that I had with my grandma the other day, right? Literally 2 days ago, was how we actually got here, right? But just the whole thing of, like, okay, so I feel like in my life, oh, see, I'm forgetting to show you guys the products. But yeah, so yeah, basically, I told my grandma that, yeah, I'm probably not going to be here on my birthday. Like, I'm going to take a trip. Because one thing about me, I love a trip, Sana. Like, if there's anything that is true about astrology, it's that Sagittarius people love to travel, because that's me to a T. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so I told my grandma, and she was like, I don't think you should be doing that, because you're trying to do X, right? And I was like, I hear you loud and clear, but I've been trying to do X ever since 2020, okay? Like, 2020 was going to be the year I finally did X, right? And unfortunately, lockdown happened, and obviously whatever plans were planned, you know, sort of had to be cancelled, you know what I'm saying? And now it's like, okay, yeah, COVID's done, whatever. I've been trying to do X. Like, last year I was supposed to do X. This year I was supposed to do X, but, like, I'm still here, you know what I mean? So I was just telling her that, like, while what you're saying is, like, so valid and I hear you, I think it's also just important for me to, like, allow myself to start living my life. And I think that's something that I've really been doing this year, in terms of opening myself up to other things and other opportunities. Like, even with the whole thing of, like, doing TV, that wasn't my plan, because my plan was to really and truly be somewhere else doing something else, etc., right? But that just, like, that door just has not opened for me yet, right? Does that mean it's never gonna open? No, I don't think so. I don't think that God would place such a desire on my heart if he had no sort of plan to fulfill it, right? But of course, it's got to happen on his terms and on his timeline, not mine. And it's cool. Like, I'm finally in a place where it's like, okay, God, I hear you, I get it. And I'm so wrong. I'm letting you do you, right? And so that's what I was just telling her, that like, even though like what you're saying is valid, for the last 5 years, I haven't done anything else with my life than work and keep my head down, because I'm so focused on trying to like do this one thing or achieve this one goal. And like, I'm turning 30 next year, guys. Like, I'm turning 29 this year. I'm turning 30 next year. And I think that like, one thing I can say about like being back in Zim, right, is just like being able to see like how my peers have sort of progressed in life and like what they're doing, where they're at, and all of that, right? Like, people are buying cars, people are buying houses, people are buying stands, like people are doing things with their lives, okay? And so, and that's great, and I'm happy for them, and I'm inspired as well, because I also know that like this environment is really not an easy environment to be doing those kinds of things, right? But also it's like, I also want to do that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I also want to do that. I also want to allow myself to like do these things, tap into some of these things. I also want to buy a car. I also want to buy stands. I also, you know, I also want to do these things. But then for the last 5 years, like, my one focus has just been this one thing that has not happened yet. Am I saying it's never gonna happen? No, like, I don't know what God's plan is, but something that is like very much reality. Sorry guys, for eyeshadow, for the browns, we went in with the Ccgrwm palette. And then for the pink, I wanna do a pink, no cut crease. Hey, but the pink is just not pinking. I need a palette that actually just has baby pink in it. I have a lot of like hot pink and stuff, because you all know I love pink, but like that shade of pink. Today I'm going for baby pink. It's nowhere to be found. I just need to buy more eyeshadow palettes and more makeup. But I think I'm going to try this, because the last time I did a baby pink look many years ago, I think I used this palette. Honestly, we'll never know. We'll never know, but I think it was this one. So yeah, that's what I was just saying to Kuti, you know what, girl, like, I hear you, but look at all these things that I would want to do with my life that I haven't done, because I'm just like so hell-bent on making this one thing work. And honestly, this year I've just woken up to the fact that that might not be God's plan for me. That might not happen for me. And maybe like, not right now. Maybe it's not like a never kind of situation. Like I said, I don't think he would place these desires on my heart if he had no plan to see it through. However, just because I have that desire in my heart, it doesn't mean his plan is for it to happen right now, right? So that's what I was just telling her, that like, we end up birthday because there's something that I've been waiting for 5 years. Like, it's just a few days. Like, it's truly inconsequential to like the bigger picture, and I feel like I shouldn't be in a position where I'm just not doing that, because that's what I've been doing all these years. And let's be real, it's not like this thing has happened anyway. So like, I feel like I should go on my birthday trip. So anyway, she was not too pleased about that, but she said she understands where I'm coming from. So yeah, I hope so. But yeah, I say all that to say, guys, like, people will be out here like making moves with their lives, doing things and all of that, and you'll just be there watching, right? But it's like, you need to remember that at the end of the day, you have agency over your life, right? If you want certain things for yourself in your life, you can have them. Obviously, there are caveats involved, and but this, but that, right? I'm not talking about that aspect of how, you know, things can be a little difficult to like bring to life or whatever. I'm talking about just the aspect of not sitting on plans, or not sitting on not doing things because you know that one day you want to do this and one day you want to do that, because time is passing anyway. Like, I'm turning 30 next year, and what, like, really and truly, what have I done with my life is how I'm feeling right now. But obviously I know what I've been doing, I know what's happening behind the scenes and all of that, but then, like, it's in moments like that where you start thinking, like, you know, maybe I should have just allowed myself to do something. Which is why, like, I think it's so important to embrace opportunities in the present, even if they look very different from what you had hoped for. Honestly, this pink is not pinking how I wanted it to. Anyway, I'm back in the Jackie palette. I want to try this Sweet Thing pink glitter. It might just give what I'm looking for. But yeah, so it's so important to grab opportunities when they come in the present. Obviously, not every single opportunity is something you should just say yes to, like, willy-nilly, without thinking about the, like, consequences, or like what it really means to take that opportunity. But like I said, life is still happening in the meantime, and because life is still happening in the meantime, it's okay for you to take on some opportunities and try new things and see where life takes you, right? And I think for me this year, that has looked like getting back into content creation, like on a more serious sort of tip. And yeah, no guys, the pink is not pinking. This is not giving pink, but you know what, it's fine. It still looks really nice. So yeah, for me that looked like getting into TV and getting into content creation on a bigger scale. Well, maybe not bigger scale, but maybe almost like the same scale it was on during COVID, when we were in lockdown and had nothing else to do, and I like had the time, you know. And I'm grateful that I've done that, because for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm having a year that's actually fulfilling, because I'm doing something other than working and keeping my head down. I think another aspect of like being in the waiting that I don't think we speak about enough is that just because you're in a waiting season doesn't mean you now have to be passive about your life or what you want out of life, right? Like, you still have agency, right? So yeah, there are definitely things that may not happen according to the timeline that you wanted or whatever, right? But that doesn't mean that there aren't other things you can be doing with your life in the meantime, okay? While you are waiting for that specific thing. And I think that's just the energy that I'm really tapped into right now, because I realized that like I was just on pause. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't living life. I was just breathing every day for sure, but that's about it. I really can't say, you know, much living has been happening. And of course that looks different for everyone depending on your situation and all of that, but I mean, it's things like learning a new hobby, spending time with your loved ones, learning a new skill, traveling. All of those things are very much things that can like just bring so much meaning to life, even in a season that is a waiting season. Like, it doesn't mean that like nothing else must happen in your life, right? Because the time is passing anyway. So what ways can you make life more meaningful for you right now, even though you're waiting for that one thing to happen? So yeah, I know I might look a little crazy right now because this is a very bright concealer, but also the foundation is a very dark foundation. So what I like to do when I use this foundation is go in with a brighter concealer, because then it won't look so muted when I'm done. And I think the other thing with like waiting seasons as well, I'm just gonna let the concealer dry a bit, is that I think sometimes we try to be like perfectionists, but perfectionism doesn't exist. And I think sometimes even that waiting season, I think sometimes we also probably contribute to it being longer because we're waiting for everything to be perfect, right? But like sometimes the conditions will never line up perfectly for something to happen, right? And it takes me back to the Bible verse. I'm actually just gonna pull it up because I want to say it word for word, right? It takes me back to this Bible verse. So it's Ecclesiastes 11:4 to 6, I think. Yeah. And y'all know I'm Christian over here, so yeah, sometimes I'm gonna pull out a Bible verse, and that's okay. But anyway, so it says, for those who wait for perfect weather will never plant seeds. Those who look at every cloud will never harvest crops. You don't know where the wind will blow, and you don't know how a baby grows inside the mother. In the same way, you don't know what God is doing or how He created everything. Plant early in the morning and work until evening, because you don't know if this or that will succeed. They both might work. Okay, this was the NCV version. There's so many versions these days. I don't know what the NCV stands for what. I'm usually an NIV girly, but the message remains the same, right? So I think sometimes, you know, in our waiting, we sort of wait for everything to like come together perfectly, like exactly how you imagined, exactly like this, exactly like that. But it's like, babes, sometimes hapana kana perfect. Like sometimes it's not going to like line up like that, work out like that, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't like get to it in the meantime. Or get to it the best way you can for now. And so that brings me to like the point of like living a life of intention, because it's very easy to just get stuck in a place of just feeling like, yeah, you know, I'll do this when this happens. So yeah, live intentionally and just focus on gratitude. Focus on just being present in the moment and allowing yourself to just like live. I don't like that I keep saying live life, because that means different things for everyone, but I hope you get me. You know what I'm saying? Like, still hold space for the other things that are happening in your life right now. Yeah, even if that's not the thing that you've been waiting for, because there's still small wins, there's still like things that happen on a daily basis in life that are still like, you know, you still get to see the hand of God in your life. You still get to see, you know, things coming together nicely, even if that one thing has not like come together. So yeah, it's very important to be intentional. Practice gratitude. Be present in the moment. Take each day as it comes, because the time is gonna pass anyway, right? So it's really up to you to decide, like, okay, once the season is up though, like, what can I say I did with my time? Did I just like wallow in sadness on some, why me, God? Why are you making me wait? Why is this taking so long? Like, the choice is really yours. So yeah, guys, I say all this to say, right, that at the end of the day, life is happening right now. Life is not what's gonna happen tomorrow, 10 years from now, whatever. Life is also happening right now, and you really need to allow yourself to just be in a place where even right now you're making it meaningful for you, and you are living again for you. Like, if you were to die today, like, that's something I've been saying to myself often, not in a way of trying to call it into my life, but just as a way to remind myself to be present. But yeah, I always say, like, if you were to die today, would you be happy and proud of the way in which you lived your life and the things that you did? Ooh, child, this Jackie and Guido palette, don't play. Like, this red is giving way more blush than I was intending. But anyway, so yeah, I have to ask myself that, like, bro, like, if you were to die today, would you be happy with the things that you did and the way you spent your time? Or do you feel like you could have done more? And realize that, like, by living in the now as well and just doing what is there at present, it doesn't mean you're betraying your future. It doesn't mean you're betraying your future self. I think it's just allowing yourself to have a life even while you wait for that other life or those other things that you want to happen. And that's okay. So yeah, guys, I really want to encourage you to not let life pass you by. Live right now, because all of these little moments now that may seem insignificant are still very much a part of, like, your story and what you do every day. And I think it would be really unfortunate for you to, like, not allow yourself to fully enjoy that just because you're waiting for something else to happen. So yeah, guys, I want you to reflect on your life and the way you've been living it, right? And maybe comment down below and let me know, what are some ways in which you feel like you haven't been allowing yourself to live life? What are some ways in which you've just been holding back because you're waiting for the perfect weather to plant? And once you figured that out, what do you think you can do differently moving forward with the intention of allowing yourself to live? Okay, guys, so here is the final look with some lashes, darling. Loving her loads. Of course, this is not the pink that I wanted, but at the same time, I don't know why I was being delusional, because I clearly don't have the color that is needed. I had a Morphe palette that had pink in it, but I left it at Miriam's house in December. So yeah, now I've remembered where the pink was even from, like which palette. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys found this video useful and that you guys are enjoying these chit chats that I brought back to the channel. And yeah, comment and let me know what your waiting situation is, how you sort of navigate the situation, and don't let life pass you by while you are waiting. Anyway, I've done a lot of talking. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.